Yes, sir. We are live. Welcome to the Profit First Show. I'm your host, Jay Askew. If you're new here, welcome in. If you're not new and you're returning, welcome in. We got some ground rules we're going to lay in before we even get started. If you guys are joining and you are part of the chat, then say what's up. We're going to reply to everyone who is commenting in the chat, and we'll have the comments pop up. And between each segment, we'll go ahead and respond, and we'll have a conversation whether you agree, disagree, or you just want to share your thoughts. Also, for those who have subscribed, I appreciate you as well. We're going to go ahead and get right into it because your boy has a flight to catch in about 4 hours. And right now it's like 12:48 a.m. But I'm dedicated to this thing and I'm not going to miss a day of uploading. All right, let's get into it. Tonight we're going to cover 3 topics: the job market crash, the mortgage regrets, and the cost of living. All right, let's get into it. Like always, subscribe if you like the content. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let's go with the first topic.
I got 3 job offers in 4 months, and I'm going to tell you all the weird things I did to get my application past the bots. Okay, thing number 1.
Let me back out one sec. Let's replay that. Hold on.
I got 3 job offers in 4 months, and I'm going to tell you all the weird things I did to get my application past the bots. Okay, thing number 1 you've probably heard before, but I copy and pasted the job description at the bottom of my resume, changed the font color to white, saved it as a PDF, and applied with that. The reason being is that a lot of these times these application portals are scraping your resume to see how much of a percentage of a match it is to the job description. So if you have the job description pasted in your resume and then you're kind of hiding it with the font color and then having it be a PDF, it works out pretty well. The second thing is, before I'd actually even apply, I'd reach out on LinkedIn to strangers, connect with them on LinkedIn, and then after...
Okay. So first of all, the first tactic is something that you're really not going to know. I mean, it sounds good when it's spoken, but there are also a lot of jobs that don't use these scraping tools or even AI yet fully in order to find out if a candidate is a good candidate or not. And as a matter of fact, I would put more importance on how quick you sign up and apply to a job and how long that job has been listed. My old manager told me that when I applied for my old IT role at that company, that there was over 300 applications and they came in quick, and she wasn't, or anybody else wasn't able, nobody was able to sift through all of those applications, let alone go through all of those interviews. And so it was really the top few people who applied as soon as the job was posted. So apply early and apply to the jobs that are showing up early. But hey, she said she got a job doing this method, but it's, I believe timing is way more important.
Connecting with them, send them a message saying, hey, I'm looking at this role on your company's site. I don't know if you have a referral program, but if you could put me in, it'd be a win-win. Third thing,
Okay, so I've heard of this method as well. I actually invested in a course. It was about $500 to $600, and it was guiding us on using LinkedIn to get a career in IT. Shout out to Course Careers. All right. And it was explaining how we should network on LinkedIn, which is important. But one of the first things that you don't want to do when you meet someone new, whether it's in person or online, is ask them for a favor. Like, people are not going to want to do that at all for you. Let's be honest here. If somebody did that to you, you'd feel like somebody is selling to you, or they want something from you, and you'd feel like you're used. You know what I'm saying? No, very rarely are people going to actually do that. So I believe we should engage. If you're going to follow this, engage with what they're uploading on LinkedIn. Show your interest in it. And this is not me just saying this out the blue, right? This skill, which is networking, is used in so many aspects of getting what you want online. I made over 6 figures online just doing a method like this: liking, commenting, and sending people messages on Instagram for years. And people who never even knew me, people who never even knew me would, we would build a connection online on social media, and they would pay me $2,000 to $5,000 for my online fitness programs at the time, when I was an online fitness coach and a full-time entrepreneur. So definitely do not just reach out to people and just ask for favors. That's not going to work.
I learned from someone else, but it works really well, is if you've been applying to the same company over and over again, go ahead and create a new email account and apply same resume, same job with your new email to to see if that helps push it through. A lot of the times on the back end, like they can see how many times someone has applied for a role at the company. And I don't know why, but I feel like if they see like hundreds of applications for something, it has less of a chance of going through. And then last,
That's actually really intelligent. I like that one. I mean, I can see that happening all the time, right? They see in their system that you've applied to multiple jobs, you haven't gotten a job yet, and it's easier to look through and look past you because they can just look at somebody else who they've never even spectated before. That's a really, really good piece of advice. Let me know your thoughts on that in the comment section down below.
but not least, this is probably the most unhinged thing that I did, but I limited myself to only apply for 5 to 7 jobs a day when I was actively looking. And I kept track of each and every single one of those jobs in a spreadsheet with a screenshot of the job description, not a link because they removed those, screenshot of the job description, the job number, the job title, and then the resume that I used to apply for the job. For every single application, I did a different resume. Again, copy and pasting that job description into the resume, saving it as a PDF.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. So she's basically keeping track. She's keeping what's basically like a CRM, which stands for relationship management or something like that. Relationship management system, which basically is like how companies keep track of customers and make sure they get their upsells and bring them down their pipe or up their pipeline to get somebody who's just curious to actually becoming a paid customer. So someone who's like, or a company that's looking for a prospect, and then, making sure that you're following up and following protocols. I like that because she's using a system, and I believe systems stand for saving you some time, energy, and money. So shout out to her. Shout out to the creator. Her username is at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, by the way.
I hate to admit this to people, but the only reason why we're having issues with finding jobs right now is because these companies want to outsource people in other countries because it takes less money to pay them. Because in their currency, it translates to a lot more money for them. Yeah. That's why whenever you call a company's call center or customer service, it sounds like, people that have strong accents from different countries. Why? In those countries, they can pay them cheaper. Like, let's just say, for example, if you pay them $200 a week in American dollars.
All right. By this point, we get the point. It's called capitalism. Let me be clear. The world is going to keep moving forward no matter what, whether you like it or not. And yes, there are opportunities for companies to hire people and pay cheaper to do your job. And I believe that's always been there. But with technology, it's happening very fast, faster than it did in the past. So when we look at this, you can be on one side. You can be on the side of, I really hate this. I'm going to complain. Or I'm going to grow my skill set to become more valuable in an economy that's forever changing in the United States. The reason why I'm being so blunt tonight is because, man, I'm tired of hearing these excuses. You know what I'm saying? I literally am, of people complaining about capitalism when in the United States, everybody capitalizes off of everybody. You know what I'm saying? You work a 9 to 5, the job that the boss, the CEO, they're capitalizing off of your hard work. Nothing wrong with it. Use it as a tool. You see other companies doing it. How can you? That's what I question. If people are, not everybody, but if people are upset about capitalism and, they keep outsourcing, you outsource when you use DoorDash, right? And DoorDash outsources the people who dash. And then the companies that are using DoorDash literally outsource the people who are working in the restaurant. It's a capitalist country. You got to learn how to adapt and become more valuable. This doesn't necessarily mean work harder. It literally means work smarter. Use the system that you have advantage. Use the system that's being used right in front of you. You know what I'm saying?
To them, that's probably more than enough to live
Appreciate
well in that country. So, or at least like on a pretty good income where they can be comfortable, or at least pay all their bills with ease.
That word comfort just gives me the ick. Like when I hear comfortable, I'm like, why do people want to be comfortable? Like what's the deal with being comfortable? Comfortable means that you're staying in a spot where you're not growing. Let me be clear. When you work out, you're not comfortable. You're uncomfortable, which means there's going to be growth for your future. Okay? When you're in college and you're taking multiple courses and then you got student loans, yeah, they suck, but you're uncomfortable with the position that you were in before. And so you invested into yourself for a greater opportunity. Uncomfortable does not mean that you're having a bad life. It means that you are changing not only your environment. Well, your environment doesn't even change, actually. It's not just you're changing your trajectory. Bottom line, you're changing your trajectory. At the end of the day, people take comfort as a lifestyle that should be lived. A lot of you not, bruh. A lot of people think that once they make it, it's going to be good. It's going to be great. They don't have to worry about a thing. But one of the things that I've learned through life is new levels, new devils. You hit new levels, you're going to have different levels of problems. One of my mentors said, there's somebody on this earth complaining about the price of eggs and the price of gas. And then there's somebody else on this earth that complains about where they're going to build a garage to put their 15th car. Now, which set of problems would you rather have? We're not escaping anything, man. This is life. This is what builds strength. You don't build strength off of comfort. You build strength off of uncomfort, being uncomfortable.
That's why. How I figured that out? Because when I went to, Saudi Arabia, and when I traveled to my country, Bangladesh, it was so many years ago, the currency, and I'm out here, I'm worried about oh my God, what if I spend so much money? No, literally you can spend $2 and that's 20 Saudi riyals to them. So you can purchase a lot of...
Yeah, but I believe we live in one of the most greatest countries in the world. So I'm not going to complain about how things are
1 o'clock.
So much more expensive in the United States. What are we comparing it to? Anyways, Hayden said soon AI will take over the outsourcing. 100%. 100%. I'm telling you right now, this is y'all, I work in tech, right? That doesn't mean that I should be caught up with AI. There's plenty of people in tech who aren't caught up with AI. A lot of people are amazed by how AI can rewrite emails still. The other day, I created an app with AI, and I'm using Google Gemini. And I'm like, how can I find more videos to react to without me having to spend my time flipping through videos, watching the first 5 seconds to see if it's a good video to show to you all and create videos on YouTube with? Because it takes me a long time. Believe it or not, it takes me a longer time finding these videos to show you all than it is for me to actually record. So a lot of the times I'll multitask. I'll go to the gym and do cardio for 20 minutes and then try to find and do my best to find 10 videos. But honestly, every time that I work out, I only find about 10 videos. I create probably around 40 videos a week. And every video usually has 8 clips. So if you do the math, that's over 300 videos a week. I don't have time to find good videos at the rate of 320 videos a week. Anyways, I created an app with AI and it helped me find these videos within seconds. And then I have it running on a timer. Every hour, it's updating me with newer videos I can react to that's relevant to my channel. AI is going to take over. It is going to take over. Because I was thinking about outsourcing someone on Fiverr to do market research on videos that are trending that we can talk about on this channel. I was able to use Google Gemini to do this in 10 minutes. And I'm using it still. It amazes me. It amazes me for sure. But let me know your thoughts on AI and outsourcing and how you use it as a tool or how you don't like it at all. I love it. And it's here to stay. That's what I believe about it.
Nobody else is going to tell you this but me, so lock in. You need to stop telling the truth in your job hunt if you actually want the job, and here's why. These companies and their hiring staff are rude. They're not looking to give you your first shot. They're not looking to hire unemployed people. And I knew this already. I get the game. I work in HR. I studied HR. I've been a resume writer. I'm a career coach. I get people 6-figure remote jobs every single day. And there are specific tactics you need to put in place so that you don't look underqualified, undereducated.
I used Google Gemini. Google Gemini. I barely use GPT now. Google Gemini.
Or unemployed. Why? Because they're kind of like Volby. They're like a Voldemort. They're mad at the Muggle-borns and the Muggles, but they daddy is a Muggle. They're Muggle-born. They don't have the education. They don't fit the job description. They're not qualified, but they want you to be. Why? It's not fair and they're rude, so play the game. Here's what you're going to do. Number one, you are going to ignore the dementors. Anybody who is telling you that you don't fit the job description and they can't call you back because of your application and you don't have the skills or the experience or qualifications or the requirements, you don't have the right certifications, you don't have something and you're not enough, you're going to ignore that person because they're a dementor. They're hating, they're not helping, they're against the people. You have to be for the people over here because what you really need to do is LIE. If somebody is not telling you that you have the LIE to get the JOB, they're not giving you advice.
I was very lost off of why she's advising people to lie about their experience in order to get a job. I think that's gonna slap you in the face because now you got to have a great memory. You know, it's amazing what shortcuts people try to create in order to get something that actually takes skills. And let me explain. It's called networking. I feel like that might be the word of the day for today's show. You know, networking is one of the things that many people can't do because they fear public speaking. They fear meeting new people. They fear the judgment of people. But you gotta make sure you get the reps in. Like I literally after graduating high school, 11 years ago. Yeah, it was 11 years ago. No, it was 10 years ago actually, but I told myself I'm going to break out my shell of talking to people and being able to be a great communicator. And so I started talking to everybody in the grocery store. Hey, how you doing? How's your day going? You know what I'm saying? How's the weather? You know, I like your shirt. I like your hair. I'm just talking to people, right? People want to take shortcuts and lie about their job experience in order to get a job. That's not going to help you. That's not going to help you at all. I recently got hired at a new company, right? I work in IT, and one of the reasons why I got the job wasn't because I had the certifications or whatnot. I've had some job experience in IT, but not the role I just got, and all praise to the Most High. But I also knew that networking is one of the things that's going to put me forward in front of a lot of people. People knowing my name, my voice, my face, and my work ethic speaks a lot further than a sheet of paper and also lying. Like, are you kidding me? Hayden said, I use GPT for my appraisal work. It is a great tool. I agree. I hate that it will replace people's jobs, though. Yes, it will replace people's jobs. I believe it's going to open up a lot of opportunities, though, for people who are ready to adapt. Yeah, try Google Gemini for sure. For sure. Google has a whole bunch of apps that we already use. Gmail, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Drive, Google Maps. It's all tied in. YouTube. Google owns YouTube. They've already had the infrastructure. Hayden also says, it seems like you need to have your own business now. This way AI is a tool for you and not replacing you. 100%. This is why we have the Profit Live show, literally, because we talk about finances and economics and what people are going through in this country. But the realization is you need more than one stream of income in today's economy. You just do. You just do. And you have to be persistent at it. You have to be consistent at it. And I'm a proving example. I'm showing you all, literally, if you guys watch my older videos, I talk about how I've made money online, my stories about how I've made money online. And I once taught people strictly how to market themselves online. That type of content wasn't working for me. I did it for a year. Whoop-de-woo, cry a sad story, changed up my strategy, and we got this channel monetized. And so now I'm hitting it with a different angle. it's another stream of income. It's another stream of income. 100%, man. And the greatest thing about it, when you create a business that's automated, is that you don't have to you don't have to trade your time in order to get money. Yes, you put in time, but you're always getting paid around the clock, no matter what time it is, you know?
Advice that you can actually use. How are you going to go to school in the next 2 seconds to get the job so that you can pay your rent? How are you going to get the education and then get the job if they keep telling you that you don't have the experience so they can't give you the job? That's stupid. That's stupid. Stop doing that. Just lying. Okay, so how do we do that? How do you effectively scheme and scam and deceive on your resumes just so that you're able to get a callback? So you can show and sell and pitch your labor value to a buyer, a customer. You're going to look at the job description that they keep telling you that you don't fit. You're going to make yourself fit it. You're going to change the type.
By the way, a lot of the times when you see a job description, it's HR typing it up and not the people who are actually working in a department. The reason why I know this is because I ask questions during the interview. I do. Even if I didn't get the job, I ask questions. Hey, maybe it's the salesperson in me. When I worked sales for 5 years, I want to know the information so I can improve, for the future. Like I'm always looking, okay, if I didn't get what I actually wanted, what can I learn? What can I gain? You know what I'm saying? I need some wisdom. I need to see it from a different angle, And I found out by multiple companies that HR types up these job descriptions, man. They don't know what you actually do. They barely know the terminology. Sometimes they ask people who actually work at the job. Sometimes they're using AI to create the job description. Sometimes they're using other people's experience and then being like, oh, you need this, you need that. Or just communicating with people and they're making it sound way more complicated because guess what? It's called process of elimination. They want you to think on the job description, you need this, that, and the third. But a lot of companies actually value teaching you from ground up how they do things. You become a greater asset when you don't know how to do everything that the job description tells you need to have, because truth is they want to build someone from ground up and train them on the way the business does their business, which means you don't have any defensive walls saying, well, actually, there's a different way to do that. Or actually, I'm used to doing it like this. Like when I heard that, I'm like, oh, so I shouldn't discredit myself because they say it's required for me to have a certification and the company will pay for my certification? Are you kidding me? You know what I'm saying? They know you're an asset to them, but you got to approach it that way. Lying is not gonna, come on, man.
The years and the skills on your resume to match what's on that job description, regardless if you've done it before or not. I say this all the time and people are like, well, how? And I'm like, look at my videos. Resume tips playlist at Andrea's Writer Ever. I give people 6-figure remote jobs every single day.
All right, we're not going to go for this. If someone is literally advising you to lie during your interview and they're telling the truth on how they've helped people get 6-figure remote jobs, but they just told you to lie, I don't believe they're trustworthy. I can't be a supporter of that, man. I don't stand for that. I don't stand for that at all. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below on this specific topic with what she's communicating.
The job market is terrible, but here's my best advice that I can give somebody who's looking for a job right now. Number one, stay off of these recruiting websites, LinkedIn, Indeed, what's another one, Built-in. You don't want to go to those websites and think that, oh, this is the opportunity for me to find a job. I would say about 80% of those jobs are fake jobs. They're not real.
No, they're not. No, they're not. I've gotten plenty of jobs using Indeed. You got to apply to them early and apply to their websites if you're going to apply to LinkedIn. The reason why, or not LinkedIn, or yes, my fault, y'all, LinkedIn, Indeed, and these other job sites. Reason being is because these jobs are using like these third-party sites like LinkedIn, Indeed, and whatnot, Glassdoor. They're using it, ZipRecruiter. They're using it as third-party sources. So their primary way of seeing who applies is their actual website, but their way to see more opportunity on people who are on other platforms are by using these third-party platforms like ZipRecruiter and Glassdoor and Indeed and LinkedIn, right? They want to use those platforms because it's like a social media for them. They get to go, they're fishing in a bigger selection of water. Instead of fishing at a lake, they're fishing in the ocean when they do this. And hence the AI. But again, AI isn't going away. Hayden said, I really feel networking is the key. A cold interview is so suspect. They use the interview to train their staff 100%. When you know people, people can pull strings. And it doesn't mean that you're guaranteed the job, but it does put you ahead of most people who are applying via Indeed, clicking apply, or LinkedIn, clicking apply, or even lying during the interview. Like, there's no reason to lie if somebody already likes you because they already know you. And they're like, you know what? I'm actually interested to see, why they're interested in this job. Let's go ahead and give this guy a chance, right? It's a skill that many people aren't going to put in the work for because they only want to network when it's to their benefit, right? And don't get me wrong, you applying to a job after networking is something that's a benefit. But remember when I told you one of the things that I did, and I'm so grateful I did at a younger age when I graduated high school, and you can do this in any moment of your life, it doesn't matter your age, by the way, was to purposely talk to people because I was such an introvert. I labeled myself as an introvert. I cared about what people thought. I was shy. I wasn't well-spoken. I got nervous, not just speaking in front of the camera, but speaking in front of people. And I had to become a people person. Now people open up to me all the time in public. Why? Because I believe it's energy. I believe it's energy and it's being able to hold a conversation. But most people only want to network when it's their gain. But what about when nobody else is watching and you're just working on improving a skill because you know it's going to improve everything else in your life? Not just a job, but your relationships. Imagine if you were able to communicate like 10 times better than where you're at right now.
They're either jobs that the companies are just posting so they can get their numbers up and say like, hey, we posted this job, we got this many applications for their statistics, or
yeah, that's actually crazy. I did not know he was going to say that. I told you they're using it to fish in a bigger body of water.
Or whatever. I'm not too sure why they're posting fake jobs to steal your information. That's another reason. But yeah, stay off those websites. That should not be your main source to look for jobs. While I'm not saying that you can't get a job from there, what I'm saying is that it's flooded with fake jobs, fake recruiters, companies that just want to get their numbers up. It's not a good source for you to go and apply for jobs and think like, oh, this is where I'm going to get the job. So stay off those sites. Instead, what you want to do is you want to go to actual company sites. If you're applying for Amazon, you want to apply for Amazon on Amazon career site. You don't want to go to Indeed and apply for Amazon. Go to Amazon's career site and apply for them. Same thing for Home Depot. If you want to apply for Home Depot, go to Home Depot.
It's almost like back in the day when you had to go into the store itself or the place of business itself and ask for an application and they handed you a sheet of paper.
Career site. Don't go to LinkedIn to apply for Home Depot because first off, Home Depot is going to look at their career site before they look at anything else. The next, and this is probably the most important thing, your resume is not a one and all thing. Your resume needs to be tailored.
Yep, it needs to be a custom. And this literally is something that I had to learn the hard way. My girl had to teach me this. She was like, yeah, they're going to look all past this because she was getting trained to become an HR employee a couple months ago. And she was taking a course on it. And I was like, really? But you know what? It works like this in the real world as well. Think about it. All right. For me, in my experience, when I was selling online fitness programs, I'd be on Zoom or I'd be on the phone with people who were interested on social media to lose weight and build muscle. And a lot of the times you would think that you're talking about the same thing every call. Oh, our price is this much. Oh, we can help you get this result in this many months. But it's far from that. You have to listen to what people are saying because what people say all reveals what they want and what their pain is. And then you can tie what they want with what they need, but help them relieve themselves of their pain. And then that creates desire in a person. But everybody's story is different. Just like these jobs, yes, you might be applying for a specific role, but this company might be in a specific transition and you don't know it, but you have to make sure that the job you're applying for is actually not wasting their time looking at your skill set. so I don't put, like, when I worked for IT, I didn't put I worked in sales for 5 years. There's no reason for me to put that. Like, I worked IT for 2 years and I've done all these tasks, and then they bring me in for an interview. And then I talk about IT if they ask me IT. But if they ask me about character, I bring up sales, because sales is a deep game that a lot of people don't want to play because they lack the mental fortitude and the character to do so. And that's okay. It's not meant for everybody, but I'm going to use it to my advantage after I get my foot in the door. You know, they got to look at the interview first and be like, let's see what this guy is talking about.
To each job that you apply to, not just you create one resume and you send the same resume to every single job.
It's almost like pickup lines, like corny pickup lines, like you're approaching a female, right? Or how you approach your wife, right? Imagine you approaching every woman the same way. Hey, you know what I'm saying? I don't know any cheesy pickup lines because I'm not that type of guy, you know, but I don't say the same stuff to anybody at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I go with the flow and I don't like to keep it like on a script, you know, but that's just me. When it comes down to these jobs, we need to approach it the same way. Like, don't treat it like a script. Oh, this is my resume. They'll read through it. No, their AI is going to like read it and be like, what are all these other keywords? We're not interested in this.
Not going to work. With AI is already filtering through resumes. So you have to learn how to beat AI. Basically saying that there's a job description, there's qualifications. Your resume need to have that job description and those qualifications on there. While I did not lie on my resume, I need you guys to understand this. Those qualifications and those job descriptions that you're applying for needs to be on your resume. Same thing with your cover letter. Let your cover letter reflect the job that you're applying for. Now, this is the second most important thing. Effort is going to produce results. Me, I had a goal. I applied to 10 jobs every single day until I landed the career that I have now. Don't believe me? Here's my daily goals. Apply for.
I'm glad he's showing this, man. The proof is in the pudding every time. When I was in search for a job not too long ago, I was telling my girl, I'm like, I'm about to apply to 75 jobs a day. Do you think I know 75 jobs I would like to work? No, but I'm going to find a way to do so much that it's impossible for me to not hear back from someone. I mean, if it's going to be a no, at least it's a reply, right? Instead of just not hearing back at all. On the other note, people don't have the persistency or the consistency in order for them to see the results through. We see it over and over and over again. People complain about the job market. Oh, I applied to 500 jobs. Okay, in what time frame exactly? 500 jobs sounds like a lot until you say it took you a full year, and then 500 literally took you 365 days. That's not even 2 applications a day, statistically. So let's be real here. You probably missed some days. You probably felt discouraged, but this is what separates the people who have and have not. You let your emotions take control of you to dictate, oh man, these are my actions because I don't feel this way. Then guess what? Those who don't let their emotions take control of them are going to always turn out in a better situation at the end of the day. The job market is only terrible for those who try to find shortcuts.
10 jobs. The job market sucks and companies aren't hiring like that. But if you follow these steps, you can use those to get yourself just that extra step above the other candidates. And eventually you're going to find the right job.
All right. So I didn't want to say it, but he kind of contradicted himself. It's like the job market sucks and it kind of sucks that you have to go this far. It just means the bar has been raised. Like that's it. Higher standards. Don't we all have that?
Mark my words, hiring is going to go quiet in 2026. And what I mean by that is the job boards aren't going to cut it anymore. Applying online isn't going to cut it anymore. You will be, if you follow that process, you will be the last resort candidate for any company that's going through a hiring process. What they're going to do instead, and a lot of them have already started this, but everyone's going to jump on board. What they're going to do instead is they're going to start feeling out their networks. So when they get ready to fill a role, they're going to look and see who do they have internally. That's a given. But then before they even post the role, the hiring teams are going to start putting out feelers of who do we know? Who do we know outside of the organization? Who do we know that can refer candidates to us? Have we worked with any third-party recruiters who might have a bank of candidates that we can leverage? How can we fill this role without posting it online? Because when they post it online, they're going to get overwhelmed and bombarded with people that aren't qualified, aren't interested, don't actually want the job, and they can't cut through all that noise to get to the handful of people who actually are a great match, both financially, skills, and even culture. They're cutting through all the noise. Hiring will go quiet in 2026.
This is really interesting. I've never heard a point like this, and I see it happening. I definitely see it happening. There's this company that I saw hiring some people, not a lot, but some people. And I was looking, I was like, man, this role isn't online at all. Like I can research the company and I'm like, why isn't it online? Why haven't they announced it? Aren't they trying to fill the role? And they created a new role. And I'm like, man, this is an internal thing. Like they rather find people that they know and have already interacted with versus finding people online. So I do think part of what he's saying is definitely true. Hayden says, you have to have the ability to pivot. You may be gone to college for a certain career. However, over 4 years, your job may be gone or not financially appropriate to your lifestyle. 100%. We covered a video a couple of days ago, Hayden, where we were talking about college and how it takes 4 years to graduate. Cool. But in certain departments, specifically technology as well, or computer science, the technology is growing so fast. Imagine like 4 years ago, 4 years ago, what, GPT came out? I don't know what year GPT came out. I think it was like 2020, 2021. We're in 2026 now. 4 years ago. 4 years ago. So if you think about it, the people who went into college in 2020 got a curriculum and then they were told to take a certain amount of classes and they graduated 2024, they didn't learn AI. Now they're stepping into a world where, and this is partial of my computer science timeline in college. We didn't learn anything about AI, but as soon as COVID happened and the world shut down, and I got back and I started working and I started doing classes remotely. I'm like, GPT, what is this? Wait a minute, it can code now? You know how long it took me to understand code in the different languages? And now it's teaching me in seconds? Yeah. Technology is moving. The world is moving faster than 4 years of college. El Cool J, what's going on, man? Good to see you in the live, man. Welcome in. El Cool J says that's standard procedure. They aren't trying to have an outsider unless they have to. They've been doing this for decades. I can see why. And we move like this as humans, right? Because you have trust, right? Or you feel like you know somebody. You know what I'm saying? Who wants to find out that a stranger isn't fit for the job or not, or they are, if they are fit for the job, it's just it causes more stress at the end of the day, which is why I say networking. You know what I'm saying? We've all been agreeing. Networking is literally what helps you get your foot in the door and what helps people say, you know what? Let's give this guy a shot. They pull some strings. All right. So that is the first topic of tonight. The job market isn't terrible. It's only terrible for those who are trying to cut corners and don't want to network and adjust to what's going to help them be ahead of most people. All right. Anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you like the content. Let's get it. All right. So this next topic,
you have to do this.
My bad, y'all. This next topic we got coming up is actually people regretting their mortgages. Last time we covered a topic like this, it was very, very, very sensitive. But we got to cover it again because it's finances, right? And people are still talking about how they shouldn't have gotten a house or how renting isn't the smartest financial idea. But everybody's story is different. Let's go ahead and deep dive into it. And let me know your thoughts in the chat or the comment section down below if you're watching the replay. Let's go.
I am selling my house and I'm getting ready to move back with my parents yet again. I am single. I do have a 9-to-5 job where it does not pay me nearly enough to cover the bills. And I've had this house for about 3 years now and I am just exhausted. I am drowning, barely surviving, not being able to make repairs because the house is now falling apart and I have no money in my savings to fix it. I have been saving for the past 3 years. All I've been doing is working and going straight home. I don't go out. I don't spend money on like coffee or anything. I try to save as much money as possible so I could get some money to make repairs for this house.
I just wanted to know, like, what was she saving towards, right? Because saving is not saving if you don't know what you're going to do with it. Because that eventually it has to be spent or invested, right? That's the way I believe. That not the way I believe, but that's the way I look at it in that perspective, right? You can save as much as you like, but the money has got to go somewhere, right? One thing that we learned in sales was that somebody else has your money. What does this mean? You know that car you want, you know that house you want, you know that apartment you want to move into, you know that outfit you want, you know the bills you have to pay next month. Somebody else has your money. Now, whose problem are you going to solve in order to get that money? What are you skilled at that's going to help that person solve a problem that saves them time, that saves them energy, and that saves them money? They'd rather pay for a solution rather than go through it themselves. All right. Anyways, I say all this to say her savings is going into somebody else's pocket because she wants repairs or she needs repairs. This is something that doesn't have to happen if you were to rent. Now, I know renting you don't own, but again, we've covered it a million times on this channel. When you're not paying your property taxes, you can't live in the home. They're gonna remove you from the home. You don't own anything in America these days. And that's the truth. I'm not even gonna say the sad truth because that's the truth. It's just the truth. It's not the sad truth. It's not the happy truth. It's just the truth. Hear me out. If she were to live in an apartment, pay rent, yes, she's not owning anything, but that money she's saving, she can invest, maybe buy some real estate. You know what I'm saying? And then have passive income flowing in. But instead, she's saving up for repairs in a home she's living in. That's not creating more cash flow for her every single month. By the way, inflation. She's not even beating the rate of inflation.
Make it nice and comfortable and livable. But I am at my wit's end now and I'm just tired. I honestly want to leave my job, my 9-to-5 job that's not paying me well enough to even cover the bills. I'm exhausted.
Why do people blame their jobs on why they can't pay their bills? You know, I find it not even funny, pretty confusing how, you know, when people don't have jobs, they're like, well, can't pay my bills. Okay, so the stuff gets canceled, right? And then they get the job that they applied for. And then they say they still can't pay their bills. Now, we know that having multiple streams of income is something that everyone needs. But at the end of the day, when we look at it, why are people saying the same excuses with or without a job? It's not the job. It's the person. It's the living expenses. It's keeping up with the Joneses. It's getting into debt. This is why we create videos like this.
I want to leave, but then I'm stuck with this house and I just don't want any of it anymore. So I'm selling it. I don't know what my plans are going to be after I sell my house and maybe leave this 9-to-5 job that I'm at. But we're just going to figure it out. So I'm going to sell my house and go back to living with my parents, unfortunately.
See, she's downgrading her living which is exactly what she should have done in order to get ahead. Now, all those who are out there that are like, well, why would someone rent? She doesn't own her parents' house, or at least she hasn't said it. And she's moving into another household where she isn't responsible for a mortgage. I rest my case.
The first thing I'm gonna tell everybody that intend, and I believe everybody that's listening to the sound of my voice, at some point you're gonna be wealthy. The first thing you do when you get wealthy is don't buy a big house. Don't buy a big house. Let me tell you why. And I'm gonna use examples to tell you why. You guys ever notice that whenever you first start watching these, specifically, let's talk about Housewives of Atlanta, right? Do you guys know that everybody in that show in the beginning was about to lose their house? I don't know if you guys remember. Go back and watch the first episode, the first year.
I know y'all gonna hate me for this, but I don't watch series. I don't watch things that have episodes. I think it's a big waste of time. I hate the cliffhangers. I hate the next Wednesday, next up on. I don't like that. If I'm gonna have anticipation, it needs to be towards a goal, not an episode of watching somebody else's life. Shit, I'd rather be the one on someone's TV that somebody's watching. I think I'm doing that right now, but I'm doing it for a good reason because, at the end of the day, there's too much content out here that's distracting, and there's not enough content out here that are actually giving people the truth off of what they should be doing with their finances. No, I'm not a financial advisor, but let's be real here. A lot of these problems, you don't need a financial advisor for. It's just self-reflection at this point. But I'm curious to what this guy has to say. I'm going to go ahead and play it 2 times the speed because it sounds like he's about to cook.
Okay? They were coming in and out of marriages. They were, people cheating, doing all kinds of stuff. Essentially, they were hustlers. Okay? You look at even now. Some of them still struggling to pretend like they deserve a bigger house than they really deserve. Right? That's not specific to them. At some point, this is what I recognize. I've had 2 big houses. I had a 7,000 square foot house and I had a 10,000 square foot house. I actually still own a 10,000 square foot house. I just don't live in it. Let me explain something to you. You get to the point where you're like, what am I living in this big ass house for? And some of you think that's foreign because you only see it in certain places. I know a guy that's a CEO that him and his wife just live in a really, really nice condo. And I start asking myself over and over and over, I start seeing these very, very wealthy people moving out of these big houses. The house is for a show. It's to show people you have money at some point, right? But at some point in your life, it don't make any sense. And what I'm trying to do is get you guys to miss a whole area that you ain't got to do. Because remember, one thing that I've learned is that when you start making money, you don't show it. The only way you prove money is when it's time to do a deal. People can hear rumors, the rumor might, oh, he got a lot of money. He could do this, that, and the other. So what? The only time we prove, I don't care how big somebody, I've did deals with people that had 20,000 square foot houses. And when it was time to do a deal, well, man, I got to do this, I got to sell this, okay, hold on a second. Well, man, this house, okay, I know. You guys don't remember Deion Sanders losing his house and ended up being up for foreclosure and all that big 25,000 square foot house? Y'all don't remember all that? If you're going to do anything, at the point where you can buy a house that big, buy it and get some food in there to pay the note. That way you still have it as an asset, because it's really not an asset if you just own it.
This guy deserves a medal. I'll tell you right now, he's literally the only person who's created a piece of content that has literally said what I've been saying over hundreds of videos talking about finances and ownership and especially mortgages. If it's not creating income for you in the moment, it is not an asset. The banks call it an asset. Why? I wonder why they call it an asset. Maybe because they're a bank and it's an asset to them because you're paying them interest, which is free money, and they can take it back if you don't pay them, and then they can go ahead and sell it back to someone else. Like, And you're responsible for covering it, and you don't even live in a house anymore. Come on, man. It's an asset for them, number one. Number two, people believe if it can become an asset one day, it's an asset today. No, not at all. More money comes out your pocket than more money comes in. People talk about maintenance, people talk about damages, people talk about insurance, people talk about, refinancing. They talk about all these things that cost, but they don't talk about any money that comes in from the house. Why? Because ain't no money coming in. Very easy. It's not an asset. People have two different definitions of assets. One group of people say an asset is something that's making me money every single month, or every couple periods. And there's the other people who are like, well, it has value in it. It's no, okay? That's I consider that like the stock market, unrealized gains, right? It's just sitting there, it's just floating. It's not real until you actually sell, until you actually liquidate. That's why so many people are emotional over the stock market, right? They're like, the stock is down, I should sell. You only lose when you sell. You know what I'm saying? The market can go back up, but
It's an asset if somebody else is paying for it. Just like any other thing in business. When you have items on the shelf, them staying on the shelf don't prove you got no money. That prove you got credit.
Facts. Hayden said, I have a duplex. I live in a one side and rent the other side out. It is a stepping stone, or who knows? I save so much money. I may keep it like this. I'm just saying. 100%. Yo, I have a friend that literally started his real estate journey like that, man. Like, that's smart. I've wanted to do that as well, but I got to get my money up. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, living rent free is one of the first things I definitely want to do when my money makes money. But yeah, most people, when they own a home, they're not talking about this. You know what I'm saying? Like, why do people consider it an asset? Why do people consider it something that's like they're benefiting from? You're paying money to the banks and you're living in it, and it's not creating any type of income for you. More people complain about the price that the house brings than the money it makes. That should tell you something right there.
Money is actual at work where people are coming in buying that shit and getting it off the shelf. Money is revenue. Okay? What you want to have is always been a situation that whatever you own is producing revenue. Money is like a muscle. It has to work. So, young people, stop buying these super nice cars, or that's not even nice anymore. BMW ain't no better than any other car. A Range Rover ain't no better than any other car. Shit, a Bentley ain't no better than any other car.
I don't even want to get into cars yet, man. But I just want to I want to piggyback off of what he's saying, man, because he's speaking the truth. I was not expecting him to say this. I'm actually really happy, man, because, oh God, when you think about it, right? So many people consider, having a home something that's going to earn them money in the future. But it takes so long for you to get a return that it's like, okay, cool, if you have patience, but it's like, most people get homes because they want to show off. Like, they look down on renters. They look down on people who, or let me just say this, right? Reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. I had talked about this in another video last week, and I learned this lesson without having to make the mistake, thank God. Because I'm like, oh, that's what an asset is. An asset isn't something that the bank calls an asset. An asset is something that brings in income to me. For example, a lot of people would call a car an asset. When it depreciates, when you drive it off the lot, immediately, that ain't an asset. You just lost value. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why would you consider that an asset? It's an asset to the bank. What's an asset for me right now? Stocks. What's another asset is my YouTube videos that I create, because we're monetized on YouTube. So every video, when we get views, when we get watch time, we get paid. And it's earning me money even when I step away from it. That's awesome. You know what I'm saying? But just like other people, like myself, like Hayden, who said he has a duplex, just like other people have assets that they use in order to capitalize and make their money, make money, you can too. It's not impossible, and it's not bad to recognize that you were lied to. It's actually a good thing. This is exactly what keeps people trapped. With financially struggling. And y'all gotta forgive me. You know what I'm saying? For being a little slow tonight. I have gotten very little sleep, and it is almost 2:00. So let's go ahead and wrap this up. Let's continue.
The reason why you guys could afford houses was
we
because
worked our ass off and bought it.
okay, but you're trying to say that we don't work.
No,
Everything's
I'm saying
very
you're
expensive.
an idiot because you're living in a house paying all that rent.
Okay.
All right? All you got to do is you're
All right.
paying more rent than you would a mortgage.
Okay. Where my
Okay, so this is a situation where I think this is her father, right? Telling my dad why I can't afford a house at 40. So yeah, a lot of people, it's not even an age thing, man. It's really not. It's a belief. It's a belief, right? And a lot of the times people say, well, you're paying more in rent. People are always focused on the payments, but they're not focused on the long term. And don't get me wrong. Yeah, sure, you'll own a home in a long term run. But what's also long term when you rent is the money that you save without having to get renovations, the money you save without having to pay property taxes, the money you save in so many things of not being a homeowner yet, and capitalizing on the money that you do have left over. Now, even if rent is higher than mortgage, and that's only subject to that individual because so many people also pay higher mortgages than actually paying rent. Let's be real here. Okay. Just because somebody's rent is $2,000 or $2,200 a month doesn't mean that there's nobody who has a mortgage that isn't paying more. We know that, right? The thing is, you can capitalize in both situations. I'd just rather not take on that debt. You know what I'm saying? And I'm having to trade my time for money in order to pay for it. If you're going to have that debt, at least have some income rolling in. It's nothing to flex about, well, the payments are cheaper. Since when? Well, I can't even say that. I don't understand why people flex about how cheap something is per month. And that doesn't even justify like how much their interest is. Like when somebody says something like, yeah, my payments are like $2,000 a month. I don't care if it's $50 a month. How much is going towards interest? Because that's money that you wouldn't have to give up if you were to capitalize and have your money make money. Have interest working for you instead of you working for it.
And everybody doesn't want to be a homeowner and everybody won't be a homeowner. Let's talk about it. They said 68% of adults go and buy a home because they were encouraged to, not because they understood why or why not to. Of that 68% of adults who go and rush and buy a home just because that's what society tells us to do, 32% regret buying that home within the first 5 years of living in that home. See, because I fear that that idea has a lot more to do with the idea of playing home than it does on the actual value of.
She's speaking facts right now, man. A lot of people get a house, get a home in order to show off. Like they made it. That's how they want you to. They want to sell you the dream of that you made it. You're big time now, right? You're making them make more money because you lack patience.
Owning your own home. I'm sorry, owning your own loan. Which is why we have a lot of young adults unmarried, playing house, but in an apartment. Okay, that wasn't part of my script, but stop making people feel bad for not rushing into buying a home because they haven't decided where they want to settle down, and they're not even sure that they want to wake up one day and realize that they are house poor.
Yeah, a lot of people are house poor. I mean, shit. I was apartment poor just a year and some change ago. It doesn't even matter about that, honestly, because it's about, you know, having assets. How much money are you making? And honestly, making money faster than you spend it. But you gotta be able to capitalize on it. A lot of people, they don't mind having them payments and that interest because they see it in the long term. I'm gonna get equity and whatnot. But here's the thing: is that the only thing that's working for you? You know what I'm saying? You miss a payment, it ain't gonna be working for you too smoothly. It's just not. That's the truth.
Guys, when we bought this house, I don't think we realized how much financial undertaking it would take. Okay, so in 2021, I think when our child was 6 months or so, we made the decision that we now want to move out of our 2-bedroom rental. We were staying in a very affluent area. It was nice. It was very convenient. It was central to everywhere we frequent. But the issue with the property is that it didn't have like a secure garden or like privacy, because the gardens weren't like sectioned off, so anybody could like look into your bedroom window, honestly. And also we shared the same property with a hotel, right? So anybody could really come in. We didn't really have that much of security issues. I mean, I think there was only one incident, but other than that, it was also like just becoming too small because now this babies are crawling, she can do stuff, and you've got nannies, you've got people coming into the house and all that stuff, whatever. So then we decide, okay, fine, we want to move out of the space. And I don't know why, our decision was to buy a house. Fine. We find the home that we now live in. We agree on a price, and yeah, things go on very smoothly. And our house was the last house, because I remember when we were viewing homes, where we bought our house, it was sold out. And then they contacted us like a week later, and they were like, hey, listen, there's someone's bond, whatever, that fell through. There's an opening, but first grab gets it, you know. So come view and then decide. Firstly, we viewed the house on a screen because the house that they used to view was then sold. Yeah, anyway, that's story for another day. And I think because we really wanted to make this move and we're excited about this move, we didn't really consider a lot of things. So anyway, we buy the house off a plan, basically off a plan, and off of what are those things called? Renders. Yeah, off renders. That's what we get our house off of. And because our house was the last one, or like it was a sale that fell through, we took whatever the person had decided on. So there were even things that we didn't realize that we could have added on into our home to make it more comfortable for us, whatever. So we got the house as it is, sharp. When we then decided to accept our bond, we were happy with the bond repayments we had then, right? We never considered that the bond repayments would obviously become way more, obviously also with inflation.
Sounds like to me a lot of people don't know how paying for a house works, or getting ready to pay for a house, or the process of it. I don't know all the in and outs. Just give me the rent, man. You know what I'm saying? Hayden said, now you can rent and put your money in the S&P, provided you don't take it out until you make profit. It's not about timing the market. It's about time in the market. Yep. Let me tell you something. Investing into yourself is one of the greatest things that you can do. If you want to spend money on something and possibly be able to flex, people like to flex, let's be honest, because that's part of the reason why they get houses. It's just like, oh, yeah, we need more space. It's like, who says you need more space? Like, you saw somebody who got more space, and then now you feel like you need that. Like, yeah, you're keeping up with the Joneses. You care about what other people think about you, and you're easily influenced. But here's the truth: when you invest into yourself, you recognize you are your greatest investment. I didn't know that lesson, Hayden, until I invested about $700 into a mentor who taught me how to invest into options and stocks and understand a business that, that is worth investing in, not because of some TikTok trend, but because I actually know the company. Like, I'm evaluating if they're in debt. I'm evaluating, what is their growth over the past 5 years. I'm evaluating what they're saying on their earnings calls. Things that is just literally elementary when it comes down to investing into yourself and learning the stock market or learning about an asset and how to grow it. But most people just throw away money, man. Repairing homes when it's not creating income for them every single month. Borrowing money, paying interest, and talking about how low the payments are is not a flex. Her situation sounds it sounds very, very stressful. I'm not gonna hold you.
So this is the first tip. Do not budget according to that. Like, do not. Already, the difference between our bond repayment and our rent at that point was 8,000 Rand. We were comfortable with that, and that's what we were prepared for because we needed the space and we really wanted to, we wanted to grow as people. Cool.
See? And this is exactly what Rich Dad Poor Dad talks about. It's like when people grow financially, they feel obligated to get bigger, to get better, to combine their income. And, you make more, you spend more. You make more, you spend more. You're at the same ratio, if not worse, because you keep upgrading as you're making more, as you feel like you need to grow. Like, this is exactly what I was talking about. Come on, man. Come on.
Hi, then 9 months. Yeah, it took about like 9 months for us to finally get into the home, right? In that time, our bond repayment kept going up and up and up and up and up.
I've heard enough. I've heard enough, man. I've heard enough. It took them 9 months. That's a full pregnancy in order to get the home. And their payments kept going. Look, that's the last video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I know this is going to hurt a lot of people's feelings. Oh, you get to own it. You get to have equity. You have more space. Like, you don't, like, I'm good on all that. I'm good. There's nothing you can convince me to make me think that getting a home when you can't have it create income for you is beneficial. It's more beneficial to the banks. Why do you think they're so hell-bent on showing you the idea and the narrative is to get a home? I always question what majority of people do. Why don't people do the opposite? I always question it because I'm like, why follow what other people do without thinking about it? Like, if somebody has to tell me, oh, it's beneficial because of this reason, I'm like, okay, so why are there other people on the other side saying it's beneficial? There's two sides to every slice of bread. There's two sides to every coin. There's two sides to every story. There's two sides to every situation. I want to hear both sides before I make a final decision on what I'm going to do. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you like the content. All right, let's get it. All right, my people, we got the last topic for tonight, which is the cost of living. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up these videos, and we're going to go ahead and react to it. All right, let's get it.
If the price of shit don't go down, I'm about to start stealing again. I don't give a fuck. I said I was leaving that shit in 2022, but look, if y'all gonna keep making deodorant $15 fucking for a stick, I'm gonna just have to start sticking shit in my purse again. I don't care, because I can't go without deodorant, and y'all know y'all taxing for that shit. Like, come on now, something gotta give.
Yeah, whenever I see stuff that's priced outrageously, and I'm saying this from experience, like I literally bought a stick of deodorant about 3 months ago, and it was like $15. You know what went through my head when I saw that price? I can go and look for the cheaper kind, but I know this works for me, and I think it's easier to just make more money. I think it's easier to just make more money aggressively, and then the $15 is just the $15. I'm not about to start no riot. I ain't about to cry about no prices. It is what it is. I like what I like, and hey, I'm not about to go in debt for it. So guess what? Something's got to give. It's either Old Spice is going to have to drop their prices off of me trying to go viral and complaining about the prices on TikTok or in social media, or Jay can just learn how to make more money and not just make money by trading his time for it. It's like it's easier to focus on the negative and also give in. It's always easier. But you know what? That type of mindset, you never win. And I like winning. I don't know about you, but I love winning. I'm very competitive. Why would I let us like the prices has always gone up. Hayden said, that's so dumb. I would rather wash my armpits regularly than go to jail. What's wrong with people today? Yeah. And it went over my head because I'm like, some of these things go over my head because I'm like, that's not even an option, man. Like, why would I do that? Why would I steal? Why would I go to jail over a stick of deodorant? Because the cost of living. Waiting till you see these other videos where people are literally complaining, not jeopardizing their freedom, but literally complaining about the cost of living. And, you know, I'm not here to ignore it and say that the cost of living hasn't gone up. I'm here to say there's only a left or a right. There is no sweet in the middle. There is no middle class. There is no, oh, well, you know, we are trying to make it work. No, you have to make it work. You have to have tenacity. You have to change your mindset about money, because if not, it ain't even about how much money you make. It's about what you do with what you make and your mindset towards it. Anyways, let's get into it, because this next one is actually really crazy.
Thing is just too fucking expensive for me. Every single thing. Like, it's to the point I be rationing out fucking deodorant. I'm only doing 2 swipes a day because I can't afford to do 3 or 4 swipes back and forth because I'm gonna run out of deodorant too fucking fast.
But I thought I'd tell you some of the things that I've had to give up because of the cost of living increases.
So I decided to make my own list of the things that me and my family have had to give up because of the cost of living increasing. So here's my list. The number one thing on it is all of our subscriptions, really. We didn't really have that much in the first place, but we had Hulu, Disney Plus, and Amazon Prime. And if I'm being honest, Amazon Prime doesn't even deliver like when they say they're going to. That 1 to 2 day shipping is a joke. Anywho, yeah, so we canceled all those subscriptions, and instead with our Roku TV, we got those like free TV apps like Freevee and Plex. So now we don't.
Shout out to her. Shout out to her and her family for cutting out the subscriptions. That's actually really, really smart because, well, for one, I don't like those subscriptions, but we get Netflix because we have T-Mobile, and I think Hulu, and my dad pays for Hulu for the family. He likes watching sports and stuff. But other than that, I pay for Prime, but it's not for Prime Video. It's for Prime Delivery. And I do get my packages rather quick, in 2 days or less. So, hey, I guess it depends on where you live and, you know, how well they actually deliver to you. And no, it's not always in 2 days, but I do order off of Amazon, not just because of the 2-day delivery, but because the prices are lower. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, that's capitalism and we're tired of Jeff Bezos. Listen, we just covered a video where we talked about capitalism. You can either get with the program and take advantage of it because somebody's using capitalism on your life right now, and it doesn't mean you have to hurt people. It doesn't mean you have to cheat people. It doesn't mean you have to steal. You know, it doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means that you're wise with how you spend your time, energy, and money. For example, I was cutting grass. I was cutting last summer as I was creating videos for YouTube, for this channel. I was cutting 3 people's yards with a push mower. You think I really wanted to do that? That's physical labor, right? I considered it a workout, but it was physical labor. 90 degrees outside, pushing a mower. And these are big yards. Hear me out. They paid me to do so. That's capitalism. You think I complained? In the beginning, I did. And then when money started rolling in and I started buying stocks, and that money made me an extra $400 to $1,000. I'm like, let's go. That money still isn't spent to this day. Capitalism is a beautiful thing. You just have to stop looking at it in a negative way. On the other hand, Prime and Amazon. I'm going to just say this, and then we're going to continue her video. I went to the mall and bought one of my favorite colognes. It cost me $60. I was just curious. I don't feel like driving to the mall. Let me look on Amazon and see if I can get it in 2 days. That same $60 cologne, same size and fluid ounces and everything, $60, was $30 on Amazon. I'm using Amazon.
Have to pay for TV anymore. Next thing we gave up was actually my once a month Target trips. Now, anybody who is a stay-at-home parent knows that you literally get no time to yourself, not even when you're trying to take shit. I used to go to Target once a month and I would set aside like $25 for myself just to get a coffee, get myself some face masks, maybe a t-shirt. Now we can't afford that anymore, so no more Target trips. The next thing that we cut out was actually eating out at a sit-down restaurant. I'm the type of person who always tips, especially I try to do like 20% at least, because I used to be a server.
So before she even gets into tips, I believe we should do nice things for ourselves. You know, it's I'm not sure if she's doing this or not, but dollar cost averaging, it just basically means that when you get your paycheck, you're breaking up that paycheck into different categories or bank accounts, right? So for me, when my paycheck comes in every 2 weeks, I'm getting money deposited into my debt payoff account. I'm getting money deposited into my savings account. I'm getting money deposited into my brokerage account. I'm getting money deposited into my fun account, which means I can blow money any type of way I want to. And I'm getting money deposited into my business account, which helps funds this YouTube channel. And so I don't have to think about how much money goes into each specific bank account because I've set up my direct deposit to put in 20%, 40%, 30%, 10% in certain categories. My fun account is at 10%. So if I blow money going to the movies, going out to eat, going to Target, whatever, I'm just listing out what she said that she would do with her family, right? It would only be in that specific category. And when I run out of money, it's game over. We got to, it's like Monopoly. We got to pass go again. We got to wait another 2 weeks, or, you know, we making money online, monetizing content, then cool. We get our money back up. Right? But every time I make more money, all of my accounts make more money. But it's all subject to the percentage. You don't go above your percentages. You can make more money, but when you make more money, all your other accounts go up. Right? Always pay yourself first, like if it was the bill. Yeah. The biggest problem with like middle class, right? And Hayden said it first, right? Always pay yourself first. I learned that in Rich Dad Poor Dad as well. A lot of people are like, well, you know, I just get to, you know, spend money on anything. No. Like, let's be real. You are your biggest investment. Invest into yourself. Invest in increasing your skills, right? But when she's saying things like, you know, I cut back on like taking care of myself and everything, like, I get it. She's a parent. She has little ones she's got to take care of, right? I've got nieces and nephews. But when it comes down to it, I think this is a toxic trait because, yeah, cool, you can hold out for a while and not do anything for yourself, but I believe that might cause a bigger trigger to when you're fed up, you start blowing money. And it doesn't even mean people have it. They might just like splurge on their credit cards because they feel like they deserve it. So it's okay to treat yourself. It's just percentages. If you're living above your means, decrease your percentage in one area and increase it in another area. You'd be amazed on how quick your money can stack up. Hayden says, another good habit is to count all your expenditures for one or for a month. It will teach you how much you spend on things. You will be surprised on what you spend on stupid stuff. 100%. Yo, Hayden, what I do for that is like Rocket Money. But I canceled that. I'm not gonna lie. Like I canceled it, right? Because I'm like, okay, I see how much I spend. Now, what I do now is like I put on like notifications for my bank, email, text message, app notifications. Every time anything above like 10 cents is spent, I get a notification and it's there. And then I have little app widgets on my phone to show me my balance right in front of me, you know? And so it's very obvious that, oh, I'm spending a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people, they just swipe and go and care only about the payments. So yeah, I definitely agree with you on that, man. That's a really good statement. Appreciate you for sharing that.
I know that they don't make that much money. But honestly, we just cannot afford to eat out anymore. The only time we go to eat out is if we go to like McDonald's or Wendy's, and then I use the app to get like free stuff with the points. It's the only time we'll ever go out to eat, and it's maybe a couple times a month, maybe. The next thing we actually had to give up was I had to stop working. I actually went back to work in July, and I worked for almost 6 weeks. I was only working part-time because my husband's in the military and we share a car, and then we also can't afford childcare. I was only working weekends, and most of the time I'd work 24 hours. Sometimes I get lucky and be able to work 28. But because I went back to work, we ended up losing our WIC benefits and the food bank that we used to go to because it was income-based. We would only go to that food bank a couple times a month, but that still helped us out a lot because they would usually give us a large amount of food that would probably add up to like $150 in groceries. Getting that twice a month really helped us. But when I went back to work, we lost that and our WIC benefits, and our WIC benefits also really helped us. And then I wasn't able to work more hours to make up for what we had lost. Honestly, with how much money I was bringing in, it wasn't really covering entirely what we lost anyway.
I feel for her, man, because she's a mother. You can tell she cares about her family. You can tell she's busy. You can hear the kids in the back. Shout out to her husband. Appreciate his service. Man, like, people really are going through it, man. People are really going through it. And, you know, we all have our own struggles, right? You all know my story, right? If you haven't, then just stay watching the show. But anyways, it's so crazy to think that a family, a wife and a husband with kids, are struggling financially because they're not making enough, right? I think this is for people who also haven't had kids yet. Don't have kids until you're financially ready. Don't let people pressure you into having a family until you're financially ready. Like, and what I mean by that is having multiple streams of income. Damn it, my goal is to make $100,000 a month, man. Like, a lot of people might look at that and be like, well, what would you do with all that money? Like, look, I'd probably only live off of like 5 to 10% of that. I'm looking to invest that, right? And I told you all, buying homes cash. But the thing is, moving too fast almost. And I don't know her timeline with her life and her husband, but it's just like, if you can save yourself of having the extra responsibility and financial obligations of having children before you are financially well off, do so. For those who aren't, it's going to take grit. I'm not even a parent, and I just know it's going to take grit. Like, yeah, the government programs are there, but they're there to assist you. And it doesn't sound like she's taking advantage of it. She sounds like she's trying to make the most of it, but it's just like, how do you save yourself from getting out of this situation? You know what I'm saying? A lot of prayer, but also a lot of work behind that. That's what I believe.
At that point, there was no point in me working. I ended up having to quit my job, and luckily we were able to get our WIC benefits back like the week after. But the food bank, you have to wait like a whole month and then reapply. Next thing we had to give up was me and my husband had to give up getting any new clothes of any type. Now, anybody who has ever been postpartum,
Yeah, so it sounds like she is definitely sacrificing a lot with her and her husband, with going out to eat, with getting McDonald's and cheap meals with free points, with not getting new clothes, with canceling subscriptions, which is actually pretty wise. But here's another thing that I'll just say off of the subscription thing. A lot of people count, Netflix or Hulu and, Disney Plus and all these other subscriptions money wise. They're like, oh yeah, these subscriptions are way too expensive. They're costing me too much. When the greatest thing that is costing you is time, because you're watching them. You, not the children, you. When it could be time to be making money. And that's something that a lot of people will not own up to. I had to realize that. I read in the book, it was called Trash Man to Cash Man by Myron Golden. And in one of his chapters, he was talking about how if you're watching sports, if you're watching anything, if you're watching TV and you're not where you want to be financially, you're not making $20,000 a month, then that's a problem. And a lot of you will be offended by that. I don't care. I study how successful people think. There are no shortcuts, man. The clues are left there for us to follow. But it's the path that's less chosen because it's hard. And people just can't break out of that habit of being distracted, even scrolling on your phone. This is why I create certain videos like this because, yo, do you know how much energy it takes to scroll on your phone? I scroll on my phone and I find these videos, I make reaction videos, and I use it to turn it around and make an investment or to make an asset. I'm investing my time of scrolling. After I'm done with this, I don't feel like scrolling. I don't feel like watching anything because I've put out things that are going to give me a return. That's just me though.
You know what's crazy is how expensive going out has gotten, and the fact that Gen Z is like, we're just not doing it anymore. We're not doing it because I would say, at least in the city that I'm in, it costs at least $100 to $150 if you want to have a night out with your friends. The average drink where I'm at is like $20 to $25 once you put tip in there. So if you're having 4 or 5 drinks, that's well over $100. And then God forbid you're calling an Uber. God forbid you're calling an Uber there and back. I don't know how you're going to financially recover from that. And it's just crazy because the other thing I'm seeing is the pre. I have never pre'd more in my life than these past few months, and that is including when I went to university 6-7 years ago. No one is going out these days unless we're preing at someone's house. It's literally just not happening. I'm not going out unless I'm going to my friend's place. Having 99% of the
I appreciate it, Hayden. Thank you.
night there, to be honest, and then sneaking out for 1 or 2 cheeky drinks at the end of the night. And you know what the sad part is too?
So one of my things about drinking, I'm gonna say it because I'm always gonna tell the truth on here. All right. One, I don't unless it's a very, 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 very special occasion like a birthday or something. All right. I hate the feeling that something's gonna slow me down the next day. That's gonna set me off from the hustle because I know how important it is to show up every single day. It also ties into my diet. All right. No, I don't always eat the healthiest, but I'm damn sure not gonna put no poison in my body that make me feel sluggish and tired. All right. Why? Because, well, not because, obviously it's not because I'm young and I think I can just eat it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people who are my age, 27 and in their 20s and stuff, they're like, man, you know, they can afford to eat it and stuff. I look at the energy. That still makes somebody like me feel tired. I'm good. I'm good on feeling like that. Why would I want to feel like that and I want to make more money? It doesn't line up with that character. 2, they charge an arm and a leg at these places for some alcohol, and you don't even know how much they're going to put in it. I'm good on that too. Yes, it looks awesome. You can take as many pictures as you want, put it on Instagram. It's different colors, got the fruits, the presentation. Listen, my dad works in culinary arts. Presentation is everything when it comes down to food, and he makes great food, and he focuses on the presentation, but he also makes great food. You will not catch me paying for an $8 shot. I'd rather buy a stock. Like the way the world is going now, right? And the way people are complaining about how everything is expensive and have the audacity to talk about how much it is for them to get drinks when they're out in public. It is not a necessity for you to drink alcohol. Going out to eat, going out to drink is a luxury. It's not a must. It's not something that's just, oh, you know, we should be able to buy it and still be able to pay our bills. We should get paid more. You got to cut the crap. It's a luxury. Somebody is serving you. You didn't have to buy it at the store. You didn't have to pour it. You didn't have to create the venue. You're paying for the experience. You're paying because it's a luxury.
Nowhere is busy. That's the crazy part. It's like you go to these places that are charging $20 to $25 a drink. Every single one of my like top 10 favorite bars, favorite clubs, favorite restaurants that I've gone to in the city that I'm in the past few months has not been nearly close to jam-packed. Not what I remembered it on like a Tuesday night.
Is that a reason why they shouldn't be as expensive though? If they're not jam-packed, should they drop their prices?
5 years ago. And it's just crazy because we keep seeing all these articles about Gen Z being the most sober generation. It has nothing to do with us being good people. I ask any of my friends, we're not going out because we're in relationships. We're not going out because we're getting older. We're just not going out because we don't want to spend $500 and take out a line of credit to go out. You know what's crazy is
But the thing is, people are doing that. Like, it's another side to it. But hey, let me know in the comment section down below. Where are you? Even if you're not in Gen Z, are you still going out, even though you know things are expensive and that you may be living paycheck to paycheck? Or if you're not, when do you go out? How often do you go out? Because the crazy thing is, for those who are more financially stable and they explain that in the comment section down below, they usually always talk about how careful they are of how they use their money, how responsible they are. And that's not to say everybody is responsible who calls themselves responsible, right? It's different levels to different stuff, but it's like you never hear, or you barely hear people who have it, like have financial stability, talk about, yeah, you know, I bought a $200 bottle, I did this, that, and the third. And maybe they do, but they also got other things going on in their life that are creating some source of income. Again, success leaves clues, man. It always leaves clues.
Well, I had an eye-opening experience with my son this weekend. So my son graduated from college 6 months ago. And when he graduated, he was going to move back in with us so that he could find a job here in this local area and save up enough money to move out on his own. Had no problem with that. So it's been about 6 months. He has saved almost every single dime. He works a 40-hour-a-week job, makes $40,000 a year, which back in my day was sustainable to be able to live.
But why? I'm sorry. PSA. Why do people try to relate back and be like, yeah, back in my day, you know, it was this much? Like, it's not your day anymore, obviously. Like, how many times do we have to hear this in order to understand, like, it's not enough anymore? Imagine you judging your marriage like that, right? What got you the first date, if you're a man, right? What got you the first date isn't going to keep you married. Like, you got date number 2, date number 3, you know, getting to know each other. Months go on, getting more committed, right? Getting married, right? Moving in together. Your spouse isn't judging or keeping the relationship glued together because of date 1, more than likely. So why do people, when it comes down to money, bring up the same principle? You know, back in my day, $40,000 was enough. Okay. And when I met my girl 5 years ago, I took her to Buffalo Wild Wings, but you know, she doesn't always want to eat there. You know what I'm saying? We went to Twisted Crab this weekend. She doesn't always want to eat at Buffalo Wild Wings. So why would I compare back then to now? And we've both grown in age, in finances, in wisdom, and experiences. So has the economy. So has inflation.
Apparently that's not the case anymore. You can't like live on $40,000, which makes no sense to me. So we were looking online at Zillow, Google to find apartments and houses within his budget, you know, a house to rent because he has a dog. So we said, let's write them all down and let's go check them out because pictures don't tell you what's really going on, y'all. So
True.
We drove around to some of these and I can't even tell you, some of them I didn't even feel comfortable driving down the street. They were in really, really shady parts of town. Looked like a war zone. The whole house looked like it was off kilter. A lot of work to be like. It just looked like it should be uninhabitable.
Look like a war zone is crazy.
Like, don't rent this. It should just be tore down, right? And then when we went to apartments, these apartments that were within his price range, and when I say price range, they were still going for like $800 a month. These $800 a month apartments, I didn't feel comfortable with him living in these apartments.
Hold on. I don't know about y'all, but an $800 apartment, that's what you're going to get. In 2021, I was apartment searching with my cousin that I was roommates with in college. Guess what? We found an apartment that was $800 a month. We were going to split it $400 and $400. I didn't know it was a bad place. There was an app, or just looking it up, and we found out that there was a lot of crime that happened in that parking lot recently. And I've gotten people who were living around that city being like, you don't want to move there, man. Thank you. You saved me a lot of money and possibly a lot of trouble. So if that was in 2021, what year was this video made in? Oh, man. 2023. Anyways, $800 is like you're going to be in a war zone.
Like when I say those two look like they should have just been torn the hell down, they should have been. The only ones that are decent, like he found a studio apartment that's in a nice neighborhood, very $1,400 for 485 square feet.
You pay for what you get, but not always. Don't get me wrong. Like at the same time, you know, people can have jacked up prices, but it can be off of convenience, what's around the apartment. It can be off of the material, if it's brand new or not. Exclusivity. You pay for exclusivity. You pay to be around a certain community. That's all I'm gonna say. I'd rather not be in a war zone, whatever you want to call it, the hood, the ghetto. Look, I'd rather not be around there. One of my first apartments that I moved to was in a war zone, and I'm like, I had to think about if my car was gonna get broken into every night. Man, I'm good. Moved out of there. We ended up paying $600 more per month.
Feet. That is more than my mortgage, right? And then regular apartments, not even like glamorous apartments, just one bedroom apartment that has normal square footage is anywhere from $1,300 to $1,700. We live in Montgomery, Alabama. We're not in a big metropolitan area. I don't understand how the housing market has gotten
You don't have to. I live in Virginia.
so donkey. Okay. And everybody says, well, then he should just buy a house since it's cheaper, mortgage is less than rent.
Oh, here we go again. Oh, because mortgage is cheaper than rent, get a house and borrow $100 or hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Nobody will give him a mortgage loan because he has no credit. Not that he has bad credit. He has no credit. He didn't want to get into debt. So he doesn't have any credit to show for it. So it's like a lose-lose.
Okay, so let me know in the comment section down below. Aren't you able to like put your child on like as a what is it called? As like a account. I'm thinking IT words right now, but like basically you put someone as like a user on your account, a secondary user on your account as you're using your credit card or whatever, and their credit score increases as well. I thought that was possible, but you know, maybe she didn't know that. Maybe you can't do that and it be applied.
Situation. I don't know how they're living. I don't know if he can move out right now because I personally don't feel comfortable with the places he can afford moving to, and he can't afford the normal standard shit that I would have afforded back when.
Yeah, secondary user. That's what it was called. Yeah. I told my parents about this. I was like, man, if only y'all would have known, you know. Hey, it's okay. Not everybody knows. I mean, we live in the day and age of the internet and AI now. So I'm not going to say there's no reason we should know, but there's definitely more access to stuff like that. So where you can learn. But yeah, for those who didn't know, you can put somebody, your child specifically, as a secondary user until they turn like, I think 18, and you're using your credit responsibly, and it could help their credit. It can also hurt their credit. So if you're not like good with like paying off your credit card and, you know, paying it on time, I don't even like to do payments, but yeah, if you're not good with credit, don't put your child up there. But yeah, it's definitely something that will help in the long run. So when it comes down to times like this, then they can get approved. But again, it's coming back down to borrowing money. But hey, rent or buy. Now here we're back here again. But anyways, that was the last video for this segment. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below and subscribe if you like the content. All right, let's get it. All right, my people, I appreciate everybody who tapped in. Hayden, I appreciate you. We had my man El Cool J tap in. Appreciate you, man. You've been showing up consistently as well as we get the show rolling and getting a snowball effect. We're gonna be going live tomorrow. I cannot give you guys a time specifically just because we've got to figure out where the hotel is going to be, and I've got to figure out where I'm going to film. And I'm catching a flight in about 2 hours going to Miami. So I will let you guys know. You guys will get a notification if you subscribe, if you have the bell notifications on as well. I appreciate everybody who has showed up and those who are watching the replay as well. I will see you guys on the next show. All right. I'm out. Peace.